We're going to find out more about what's happening in the business world. We've got the Dean of the College of Business at Ohio Northern University, Dr. John Navin, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So what's the current demand for your business students? Is there a certain major that's really in demand for jobs?
It's been a great year. I think our finance and accounting students are probably #1 this year. So it's been really, really good. It's been an interesting market. You know, you're always kind of curious. You never know what's going to happen. But this past spring, 97% of our grads all have jobs within 6 months of graduation. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, that is fantastic. So, all right, so what is it then that you're preparing your students to do on the job? How you guys work the classroom, and I assume some internships or things like that?
Actually, all of our students have to do an internship in their major before they graduate. And so I think that really helps in terms of placement. It also helps in terms of the students just because they know what they're getting into. I think here at the Dickey College, we're really focused on making sure our students are job ready. So it starts from the first time they enter the classroom. We go through interviewing skills, dress, make sure that they know how to shake hands, look people in the eye, have a nice, well-written resume. But we do a lot of things outside of the classroom too, a lot of field trips, a lot of guest speakers, just things that, you know, you wouldn't do in a high school classroom, for example.
Right, yeah. So, you know, we've been through the pandemic. There's a lot of remote working, people staying at home. How do you prepare them for that? And are those remote jobs still out there in the business world?
They are still out there. It's changing. We're noticing, for example, that some of the largest employers like Amazon, for example, is starting to say it's time for you to get back into the office on a regular basis. But it is a whole new set of skills that we have to teach our students. For example, how to dress for remote work, how to make sure to run your schedule for remote work, because it is so much different. You're really on your own. You've got that load of laundry that you want to do, or the dinner that you want to cook when you're sitting around the house. And so it's a very different environment. It's one that requires a lot more self-discipline. In addition to just remote work, what we're seeing everywhere is the rise of artificial intelligence. And so AI is everywhere, which means it's in the classroom. It means that students are using it to do their homework. Employers are expecting them to use it to help them in terms of writing and giving presentations. And so those are skills also that not only do we have to work with our students, but we have to spend time training our faculty to get them up to speed on the skills that they're going to need to teach their classes now with these new software programs.
I think it's interesting that businesses are kind of encouraging the use of AI some. I mean, you'd think that they'd be like, no, don't use it.
Well, I think for them, it's an easy way to give more complicated tasks to their employees, things that employees would have had to spend hours and hours doing research on. But I think one of the other things that we have to teach students and employers as well is the understanding of the limitations of AI. In terms of right now, the use of the data and how current it is, what it does in terms of citations. I mean, what is fed into it, whether it's good or not, is what it uses to create the answers to the questions that we ask it. And you still have to teach the critical thinking skills that students need to figure out what really makes sense and what doesn't.
Wow, so many changing things in the business world. And let's talk about the economy and the business world and interest rates and things. So with inflation and things like that, do you feel like the Federal Reserve is on track and that things are going to be turning more positive and interest rates down?
Yeah, I think what we saw last week when they cut interest rates by 0.5 percentage point is clearly that they are very confident that inflation is fairly under control. Their target rate, you know, we're at about 2.9% now, 3%, between 2 and 3% is where they want to be. I think in terms of inflation, we're in pretty good shape. And the interest rates, cutting the interest rates is great. It's a signal. But also for people who want to buy homes and want to take out car loans, it's a really positive thing in terms of getting more people out there spending money.
All right, a lot of things happening in the business world. Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Don't go away. Need Edition continues in a moment.